remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
What's up guys, it's Elliot here. Welcome to today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're talking about how to stop procrastinating, and I'm gonna share a little bit about what I do in college to manage my time effectively. And since we're talking about time management, I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's get right into the first point. The first piece of advice I have to stop procrastinating is to schedule everything in using a calendar. I personally use Google Calendar, and I didn't really use a calendar in high school. I started using it in college, but I saw that I was super productive when I was scheduling things in at the beginning of my day. So usually what I'll do is I'll wake up, I'll open up my laptop, pull up my calendar, and then schedule things in that I have to do for that day. Most people will overestimate how much it takes to finish a certain task, and I'm super guilty of this. I always assume like something will take me an hour, but it ends up taking me 2. So a big piece of advice is to just allocate more time for each task. For example, if I think that filming this YouTube video is going to take me 3 hours, I might schedule in 4 hours of my day for filming, just because if anything happens that I can still film and stick to my schedule. So my next tip is pretty obvious, but if you have a large task or a huge project, then start by chipping away at it earlier on, way before your deadline. And because procrastination is literally leaving things until the last moment, it makes sense that to stop procrastinating, you want to start way before. So it may seem obvious, but I'm going to talk about why doing things ahead of time just feels amazing. So the first reason is that when you're doing your work and you're doing it way before your deadline, you're not stressed. You're not stressed because your deadline isn't in a few hours, and you really have time to put out your best work that you're proud of. The second reason is that if you chip away at your project little by little, you just don't have to do as much work at one time. Let's say you have like a test or a paper that'll take 10 hours to study for or 10 hours to write. If you start the night before, then yes, you have to sit down for 10 hours and pump out an essay or just grind out a study session. If you're procrastinating and cramming, you just don't have time to take breaks, and you're gonna be tired, and it's really hard to sit down and study for 10 hours straight. But if you do a little bit each day, you don't have to spend like an hour, let's say, if you're doing it over the course of 10 days before your deadline, and that's a lot more manageable than sitting down and cranking something out for 10 hours straight. So again, my 2 points are that you're less stressed and you don't have to do as much work at one time. So this brings me to my next point, which is super important, but if you're feeling productive, don't stop working. Sometimes it's really hard to get that feeling of productivity back, and I consider myself a productive person, but I'm not always feeling productive. And so when I do feel productive, I make sure to take advantage of that and really just pump out as much work as possible. And finally, my last point is more of a time management tip, but basically save your easiest tasks for last. So going back to that concept of doing work while you're feeling productive, you want to make sure that you're starting off by doing the hardest things first, and then you save your easiest tasks for later. This was huge for me in college because I don't always feel productive all the time 24/7. And so even when I'm not feeling productive, I can kind of be productive in a sense by doing things that take less mental energy and less focus. So let's say, for example, I'm studying for a test. I've been studying for 2 hours or so. I'm losing focus. I'm getting a bit tired. What I'll do is I'll say, okay, Elliot, I'll just revisit this a little bit later when I'm more focused and feeling more productive. And right now I'll go to the gym. And something like going to the gym doesn't really take focus necessarily. You just kind of have to get yourself to go and then do it. It doesn't really require a lot of mental energy. So really, I love saving tasks like going to the gym or cleaning my room, doing my laundry, that type of stuff when I'm feeling tired and I'm not really focused. And basically the benefit of this is that when you're feeling unproductive, you're losing focus, you can kind of be productive by doing these low mental energy tasks, which are technically productive. Going to the gym, doing laundry is technically productive. It's just easier tasks. So if you save them, then you can still be productive when you're feeling unproductive. those are basically all the tips that I have and some of the things that I'm doing in college to manage my time and really stop procrastinating. And finally, I want you guys to remember how valuable time really is. It's kind of like money in that it's an asset, but it's even more valuable because even with money, if you spend it, then you can, technically get your money back. But with time, once you use it up, you're not getting it back. And so make sure you value your time, make sure you respect your time, use it effectively, and hopefully this video was a good use of your time to kind of help you learn about how I manage my time in college as well as avoid procrastination. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. If you want to see more videos on college, entrepreneurship, how to be productive, any of that, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.